Have you ever felt something guiding you? An inner voice, a sudden knowing, or a peaceful presence in a moment of chaos? Many people experience these things, and while some call it intuition, others believe it's something more, a sign that their guardian angel is near. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychologist, once said that the human psyche is deeply connected to something greater than itself, an unseen world that speaks through symbols, dreams, and intuition. He believed that our unconscious holds the key to spiritual truths we often overlook. Today we're going to explore something deeply personal and powerful. 7 signs that your guardian angel wants to communicate with you. These signs are not loud. They're gentle, subtle, and deeply meaningful. And if you've felt them before, you know. They're very real. Let's begin. You've probably had moments in life when, out of nowhere, you feel something you can't quite explain. Maybe it's a warm sensation on your shoulder when no one's around, or a calm, comforting presence washing over you in the middle of a tough day. These subtle, almost invisible touches are not random. They're not figments of your imagination. They are often the first whispers of something greater. A guardian angel reaching out. You might be walking down the street, lost in thought, weighed down by stress or worry. Then suddenly, a wave of peace settles over you. Nothing in your outer world has changed, but something inside feels lighter. That shift isn't accidental. Guardian angels often use energy to communicate pure, loving energy that we interpret through our bodies and emotions. It could be a tingling at the back of your neck, a sudden feeling of being safe, or even an emotional release that seems to come from nowhere. These moments are signals that something divine is close. It's important not to dismiss these experiences just because they don't come with flashing lights or a booming voice from the sky. Angels rarely communicate in grand theatrical ways. Instead, they whisper to the heart and nudge the soul. You might feel a chill in a warm room, or the air around you may seem to still completely, as if time pauses for just a moment. These subtle cues are easy to miss if you're not paying attention, but once you start noticing them, you'll see they're actually quite consistent. Let me take you deeper. When you feel these unexplainable sensations, it often means your angel is trying to guide you or reassure you. They're saying, "I'm here, you're not alone." And in moments of fear or confusion, this can be a lifeline. If you're ever suddenly overwhelmed with emotion, especially tears that come without an obvious reason, it could be a sign that your soul is responding to a divine presence. You're feeling the truth of your own protected state. It's not weakness, it's connection. The more open you are to these feelings, the more frequent and powerful they become. Think about those moments right before you fall asleep or just after waking. Those liminal spaces where your conscious mind is quiet and your heart is open. These are prime times for angels to gently tap your awareness. The energy they bring can feel like a soft glow in your chest or a reassuring hum in your thoughts. And even when words aren't involved, the message is clear. You are seen, you are loved. Now, someone once said that the psyche speaks in symbols and feelings, not words. And I've always believed that to be true. That's why these emotional and physical signals are so important. They bypass our logic, which is so often clouded by fear or distraction, and they go straight to the soul. Your guardian angel doesn't need to explain anything in language. The sensation itself is the message. You just have to be willing to feel it. And of course, there's always a choice. You can shrug it off and call it coincidence. You can tell yourself it's just your imagination. But when you start to tune in, really tune in, you'll notice a pattern. These moments of warmth, peace, and quiet inner knowing tend to show up exactly when you need them most. Not when you're looking for signs, but when you're truly in need. That's the grace of it. You're never alone, even if it feels like it. And your angel isn't trying to prove anything. They're just trying to remind you of the truth you've always carried. So the next time you feel something shift inside, even if it's fleeting, pause, take a breath. Ask yourself, could this be a sign? Because chances are it is. And the more you acknowledge it, the stronger that connection becomes. Not because the angel is trying harder, but because you are finally listening. Sometimes all it takes to recognize the divine is simply the willingness to feel it. Have you ever noticed the same number following you around? You glance at the clock and it's 11:11 dot. Later that day, your receipt total is $11.11. You open your phone and see you have 111 unread messages. At first, it might feel like a coincidence, something odd and curious. But if you're paying attention, you'll realize that these patterns are more than quirks of chance. They're messages. Gentle, persistent nudges from your guardian angel. Numbers are one of the most common ways angels try to reach us because they're universal. They carry vibration and meaning beyond language, and they tend to catch our attention in moments when we're just beginning to drift from the path we're meant to walk, or when we're being called to step further into our truth. When you start seeing repeating numbers or striking patterns again and again, you're not going crazy, you're being guided. Your angel is saying, notice this. There's something here for you. It might start subtly, a glance at the microwave at just the right moment, a street address that stands out. But over time, the consistency becomes impossible to ignore. It's as if life itself is trying to get your attention. And in truth, that's exactly what's happening. Your guardian angel uses the rhythm of reality, the very structure of the universe, to speak in symbols. Not to confuse you, but to awaken your intuition. And it's not just numbers, it's the timing of things, the way certain events line up just right, or how you hear the same phrase in completely different places in the same day. This is called synchronicity. And synchronicity isn't luck, and it's not random. It's a dialogue. It's the invisible world interacting with the visible one. It's your guardian angel placing subtle breadcrumbs along your path, encouraging you to follow the pull of your spirit. Now, when people ask me, but what do these numbers actually mean? I always tell them the meaning is personal. While some patterns like 111 or 444 carry general messages such as new beginnings or divine protection, the truth is your angel is communicating through your own symbolic language. If 333 appears during a moment of doubt, it might be saying, keep going. You're supported. If 222 shows up when you're thinking about someone, it could be a sign to reach out, to restore balance. The numbers themselves are mirrors, reflecting your inner world back to you. It's important to remember that your guardian angel doesn't speak in fear. Their messages are always grounded in love, encouragement, and peace. Even if the sign is meant to warn you or redirect you, it won't come with panic. It will come with clarity. That's one of the ways you can tell it's truly a message from above. The repetition will feel gentle, but persistent, and it will align with your deeper knowing. It doesn't argue with your intuition, it supports it. Some might wonder, but why numbers? Why not just tell me in a dream, or speak directly? And the answer is simple. Numbers and synchronicities bypass our skepticism. They slip past the noise of the logical mind and land right in that space of wonder, that quiet part of us that still believes the universe is alive and listening. When you start to notice the signs, it's not just about the signs themselves. It's about what they awaken in you. They remind you to be present, to be conscious, to be in relationship with something higher. You'll know when a synchronicity is meaningful because it will stick with you. It will stir something deep, like a memory you've never had but always known. That feeling, that stirring, is your soul recognizing a message. Your angel is gently knocking on the door of your awareness, hoping you'll slow down and open it. So the next time you see those repeating numbers or experience a string of unlikely coincidences, don't brush them off. Don't rush past them in your busy day. Pause. Reflect. Ask what your soul might be trying to say through the patterns. Because once you begin to listen to those quiet messages, a new language unfolds, one that doesn't need words to speak directly to your heart. And in that moment, you'll realize that the universe has been speaking to you all along. There is something profoundly mysterious about dreams. In that space between sleep and waking, the walls between this world and the unseen grow thinner. It is there, when the conscious mind has quieted and the distractions of daily life have faded, that your guardian angel often chooses to speak. Not with a loud voice or a striking vision, but with symbols, feelings, and impressions that linger long after you wake. You've likely had a dream that felt different from the rest. Maybe it was vivid, so vivid that you could still recall the colors, the sounds, even the air in the room days later. Or maybe it wasn't what you saw that struck you, but how you felt. A dream where you felt deeply comforted, where you were reassured in a way no waking words ever could. These are not ordinary dreams. These are visitations. These are moments of contact where the soul receives what the conscious self cannot yet grasp. You see, dreams allow the guardian angel to speak in the language of the soul. While the mind is no longer filtering, doubting, or dismissing, the angel can plant images, ideas, and messages into the fertile soil of your deeper awareness. Often, these come as symbols: a door opening, a bird flying, a radiant figure standing silently beside you. You might not always understand the meaning immediately, but something inside you knows it mattered. And in time, if you remain open, the message unfolds. There are times when the angel's presence in a dream is unmistakable. Perhaps you feel surrounded by light, or you hear a voice calling your name, not in fear, but in love. Maybe someone appears who has passed, their eyes filled with peace, conveying more in a glance than 1,000 words could. These moments aren't illusions, they are sacred encounters, invitations to trust that there's more guiding your life than you realize. But the angel doesn't always appear directly. Sometimes the message is woven into the dream's atmosphere, a sense of being protected, guided, or gently redirected. Maybe you dream of taking a different path than you had planned, only to wake up and see that your waking life is nudging you in that very direction. Or perhaps you feel a shift inside you after a dream, a new understanding, or a quiet peace that wasn't there before. That's the angel's work, not through dramatic gestures, but through the healing presence that lingers in your spirit. And yes, not every dream is a divine message. The mind processes thoughts, fears, and daily clutter during sleep too. But when an angel reaches out, you'll know. These dreams carry a different weight. They speak to something deeper than thought. They speak to what you are. The feeling stays with you. The message seems to echo, as if your soul is being reminded of something it always knew, but somehow forgot. Sometimes, a single dream can change everything. It can break through doubt, awaken clarity, or soften grief. Even if you can't remember every detail, the emotional truth of it stays within you like a quiet light in the chest. And when you experience that, you're not just dreaming, you're receiving. You're being spoken to in a language that doesn't rely on sound, but on meaning. The important thing is to be open, to pay attention, keep a notebook by your bed, write down what you remember, even if it seems strange or fragmented. Over time, patterns will emerge, and more importantly, your awareness will sharpen. You'll begin to recognize when the angel is near, when the dream is not just your imagination, but a message from the divine. You don't need to analyze every symbol or decode every detail. Sometimes the gift of the dream is simply presence, knowing that you were not alone in the night, that something loving and unseen walked beside you in the quiet spaces of your sleep. Because when your guardian angel wants to reach your heart without resistance, they often come to you in your dreams, when you are finally still enough to hear. Sometimes the universe speaks in ways that are small, almost laughably simple. a feather on the ground, a penny where you least expect it, the flicker of lights in a quiet room. These moments are so subtle that they're easy to brush off as nothing, a trick of the wind, a coincidence, just the wiring in the walls. But when these small events happen at just the right time, in just the right way, again and again, it becomes clear. They're not random. They're messages. Your guardian angel is trying to get your attention. These signs often show up when you're lost in thought, facing a difficult decision, or simply feeling low. A white feather appears on your path while you're silently asking for reassurance. You find a shiny coin with a year on it that holds special meaning. Or the lights in your room dim for a moment, right when you're thinking of someone you miss. In those moments, something inside you pauses. It feels like the world is responding to your inner world, and it is. Your guardian angel knows how to communicate without words. They use what's already around you, things that you will notice, not because they're dramatic, but because they land softly, in that quiet space within you, that's still listening even when you're not aware of it. These signs are anchors. They ground the invisible in the visible. They remind you that you're not as alone as you think you are. Take the feather, for example. People often find feathers in strange places, indoors, in the middle of winter, or during a walk where there are no birds in sight. And while a feather may seem like nothing special, its appearance can carry a very specific emotional weight. It shows up just as you're questioning something or asking for a sign, and when it appears, you feel it. You feel the gentle reminder that someone is walking with you, that you are guided even when you don't know where you're going. Coins are another common sign. Not just any coin, but one that shows up in a moment of doubt or reflection. You reach into your pocket and feel one you didn't put there, or a coin falls at your feet while you're thinking of someone who's passed. These tiny moments hold more power than they seem to, because they come with timing that logic can't explain. It's not about the object itself. It's about how it makes you feel. That inner knowing, that brief sense of connection that says, pay attention. Even electronics, lights that flicker, music that suddenly plays the right song, can be used as tools for communication. When you're alone and the room goes still, when a song with just the right words finds you in a moment of despair, that's not just chance. It's alignment. It's the unseen reaching into the seen. And the message is usually simple. We are here. These signs tend to show up more often when your spirit is open. Not necessarily when you're asking or begging for them, but when you're quietly ready to notice. It's a relationship built on trust. And once you begin to acknowledge these messages, you'll start to notice them more. They were always there, you're just finally seeing. The key is not to overthink. The mind wants to analyze. Was it really a sign or just something random? But your angel doesn't speak to your intellect. They speak to your intuition. They speak to your heart. And your heart knows when something holds meaning. It knows the difference between a passing moment and a sacred one. And that's the beauty of these signs. They don't demand anything. They don't need to be proven. They simply arrive, gently and faithfully, as a reminder that you're not walking this path alone. That no matter how ordinary your day may seem, the divine is woven into every moment, every space, every breath. Because when your guardian angel wants you to feel seen, they leave signs in your path, not to convince your mind, but to awaken your soul. There are moments in life when you just know. You can't explain how, there's no evidence, no reason, no logic to support it, but something inside you speaks with such clarity that you don't even feel the need to argue with it. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, but it's undeniable. That inner voice, that gut feeling, that sudden wave of knowing. It's one of the most direct ways your guardian angel communicates with you. People often underestimate intuition. They push it aside, convincing themselves that reason must always come first. But your angel doesn't always speak in ways that the rational mind understands. Instead, they speak through feeling, instinct, and that deep inner sense that guides you towards something or pulls you away from it. It's quiet, yes, but it's persistent, and when you listen to it, you're often led to exactly where you need to be. Have you ever felt a strong nudge not to take a certain road, only to find out later that there was an accident there? Or had the unshakable feeling that you needed to call someone, and when you did, they were going through something they hadn't told anyone else about? Those moments aren't coincidences. They're not luck. They're part of the invisible dialogue between you and your guardian angel. Your intuition is the bridge. Your angel doesn't need to use words. Instead, they stir something inside you, a knowing that rises up, often in the stillness of a moment. You might be in the middle of a conversation and suddenly feel that something's off, even if everything seems normal on the surface. Or you might feel drawn to a new opportunity, even if it makes no sense on paper. That pull, that resistance, that invisible compass, that's guidance. And your job isn't to explain it. It's simply to honor it. Sometimes intuition comes with a physical sensation, a tightness in your chest, a flutter in your stomach, a calm, grounded energy that suddenly settles over you. These signals are your body's way of translating what your spirit already knows. Your guardian angel works through the body, through the senses, to bypass the overthinking mind. Because your body doesn't lie. It knows when something is right or wrong for you, even before your brain can catch up. The challenge is learning to trust it, especially in a world that constantly teaches us to doubt our own instincts. We're trained to look outside ourselves for answers, to experts, to logic, to data. And while those things have their place, they don't always speak the truth of the soul. Your angel knows this. So instead of shouting, they whisper. Instead of giving you proof, they give you presence. You feel the truth rather than think it. And that's the sign. What's beautiful is that the more you follow that inner guidance, the stronger it becomes. Like a muscle, intuition grows with use. And with each time you listen, you deepen your relationship with your guardian angel. You create space for the divine to speak not just to you, but through you. And that changes everything. Decisions become clearer, paths become smoother, and even when things are uncertain, you carry a peace that doesn't come from knowing the outcome, but from knowing you're not navigating it alone. But there's something else to understand. Intuition doesn't always tell you what you want to hear. Sometimes the guidance leads you away from something you're attached to or towards something uncomfortable. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It means your angel sees a bigger picture. They're guiding you not toward ease, but toward growth, healing, and alignment. And if you can trust that, even when it doesn't make sense, you'll begin to live in harmony with something far greater than your own understanding. This is the quiet wisdom your guardian angel offers, not through signs in the sky, but through the voice that rises in stillness. The voice that says go, or wait, or let go. That sudden sense of truth you feel in your chest, the certainty that appears out of nowhere, the gentle resistance or quiet encouragement. That's them. That's your angel saying, I'm here, I'm guiding you, trust what you feel. Because when your guardian angel wants to guide your steps, they don't need to speak out loud, they speak from within. There's a moment that comes, sometimes quietly, sometimes all at once, when something in your heart softens. You feel a presence near you, and though nothing visible changes, everything inside you shifts. The weight you've been carrying lifts slightly. The chaos in your mind begins to still. You didn't call anyone, and no one said anything to you, but you know, without needing to explain it, that you are not alone. That's not your imagination. That's your guardian angel surrounding you with comfort and love. The presence of an angel isn't always marked by a dramatic event or some heavenly display. In fact, it's usually the opposite. It arrives in the quietest moments, often when you feel the most broken, In those times when words fail, when even your prayers feel too heavy to form, that's when your angel draws closest. You may not see them, but you feel them, like a warmth that comes from somewhere deep within, a kind of invisible embrace that speaks directly to your soul. There's something sacred about this form of communication. It's beyond language. It's not something you think, it's something you know. You may be lying awake at night, unable to quiet your thoughts, and suddenly you feel something shift in the room. A calmness that wasn't there before. Or you're walking alone with your heart heavy, and the wind moves through the trees in such a way that it feels like someone is walking beside you, silently holding space for your pain. These are not accidents. They are moments of sacred companionship. Your angel knows your pain before you speak it. They know what you've been carrying in silence. And when they sense you've reached that threshold, the point where you might start to forget your own strength, they come close. Not to fix everything instantly, but to remind you of something essential, that you are loved, you are not forgotten, and you never walk alone. There's a particular kind of peace that only a spiritual presence can bring. It doesn't come from solving the problem or getting the answer. It comes from being seen and held, even when you haven't said a word. That's what the angel does. They show up when your soul is stretched thin, when you're not asking for signs or synchronicities, but simply needing to feel that someone, somewhere, still cares. Often, people describe this experience as a lightness, a warmth in the chest, or even the sudden urge to cry, not from sadness, but from relief. It's as though something inside finally lets go, finally exhales. That's the presence. It doesn't push or demand, it simply offers itself. And your spirit responds to it like a child recognizing the arms of a parent. Even if only for a moment, you remember what it feels like to be safe. This presence may come in a moment of stillness, or it may surprise you in the middle of a difficult day. A sudden rush of calm when you were spiraling. A feeling of clarity, right when you were about to give up. You weren't alone in those moments. Your angel was with you, quietly, faithfully, waiting for the right moment to remind you of your own light. And sometimes the presence lingers. You may go through an entire day feeling held, feeling stronger than usual, without knowing exactly why. That's the afterglow of their nearness. It's not just a visit, it's a healing. Your guardian angel doesn't just drop in to give messages. They stay long enough to restore something within you, something that life may have